Thanks, Summers. I'm with the University of Missouri, and I want to talk about the vehicle to make some of this happen for faculty who are interested in participating, because to make this happen, it takes a structure. And being a land-grant university, there is no better entity in the world to do this than a land-grant university. They have the mission, they have the charge. But within the land-grant university, they all have an entity called Extension. And that's a vehicle that can help faculty reach that person on the ground, whether they be in Missouri, across the U.S., or in another country. And so I want to spend a little bit of time helping you understand how we're changing, and two, how we can help you. When Jerry was speaking, he mentioned that you can't really adapt the U.S. to foreign countries. You have to adjust it to them. And a few years ago, I got this driven home to me in a way that I will never forget. I was president of our national association, and I was asked by Mubarak, president of Egypt, to go with him and go with a representative from SBA to look to see what it would take to create a small business sector in Egypt. Something I did every day. It seemed pretty easy on this side of the ocean. When we got on the ground, we really learned more than we wanted to know, because all the things we assume in this country were not there. And there were things we don't even think about. We just take for granted, like laws. They weren't there, like a banking system, anything, a private sector, business sector. You know, it wasn't there. And so we could have helped him figure out how to do that, but what we also learned is you can't help a country unless they're ready to do it. And they were not ready to do what it would take, and that was pretty clear. It was a political move, and you're going to run into that. So, Senator Richard Lugar has been focused on this. This is a quote from The Hill. Basically, all it says is if you're going to do this, you're going to have to build capacity before you can get to sustainability. We all want to talk about sustainability, but we have to build capacity, and that is the public good that must be put in place first. And public good costs money from public dollars or from donors from somewhere. That has to happen if you're really going to go in, because the people of the recipient simply don't have the capacity. Now, we as a university can and will do this kind of thing, but we can't do it for free. So one of the things we're going to need to think about very carefully is, where does this capacity, where do these resources come from that enables us to go in and build this capacity? Extension already has a lot of this capacity in place, but they're not all of it. So what we can do in Extension is we have people on the ground, people who've been overseas, who have worked, interacted. We have a number of individuals who've been overseas, and in the course of that, they've learned quite a bit. But the frustrating thing to them has been the short-term thinking. And so we need to think in terms of long-term. And Extension can help make that happen, I believe. So what Extension has done is they've built 5 thematic teams, which is faculty who think about 5 thematic areas in depth. And each of those teams try to get a deep understanding of what the issues are and understand the root of that problem or problems that may be there, so that when you get ready to deal with the solution, you can start building it back from the root cause of the problem. Crystal Weber, who's with us, chairs the Global Food, who's here, and I think some of the other team is here as well. So one thing we can do to help faculty is sit down with them and help them think through the problem, help them research the problem to the degree they need that help. What our goal is to move that, going across the bottom there is We want to move it to the more complex problems, because that's where you really get social change. And we want to think in terms of being scalable, and we want to design something that's very intentional, that's been thought through. And we will sit with any faculty member who's serious about this and help them think through how this might happen through our thematic teams. And although this slide didn't show up right up there for some reason, I'm going to take that off. What it was intended to do, for some reason it didn't project correctly, but it was showing root cause, and then it showed in order to solve any root cause problem, you're going to have a number of partners. And so it was simply showing a circle of partners around that can take this issue and think it through and think about how to solve the problem and what the roles are for all the various players who are at the table. If you're a faculty member sitting in Columbia, Missouri, and we're working on an issue in Ethiopia or any other country, you're going to be hard-pressed to get to that level. And so that's one of the roles that Extension can help play, is be that intermediary that helps work on that. It is also capable of building a set of teams with expertise, and I put the expertise up there so that not only can they help you think it through, but they can actually pull teams together who could be ready to move forward on an as-needed basis if this were the direction you chose to go. We have a number of faculty who've been overseas. We have a number of faculty who would love to work in a sustainable, long-term fashion. We have a number of faculty who are frustrated because the world thinks short-term. And when you go over in a country and you go to that country and you see for 2 weeks what the issues are, then you come home, you don't feel like you've accomplished much. And so we have faculty that would really like to think deeper, work harder, and be part of the team. We're not the answer. The answer is a consortium, but we are the arm of the University of Missouri designated to help faculty take their work to the people. Thank you.